All right. Happy Sunday evening, everybody. Big waves out there. Good to see you. Good to see you. Come on, give me some wave. Good to see you. So excited to have you on tonight. I'm actually very excited to have Ashley Paulson joining us. Um, and I'm going to talk more about that in a little bit. She's experiencing probably the biggest last 4 weeks that she's had over the last 12 months, um, using this system that is in place ever since we left Destin, Florida. Going to talk a lot about that tonight. So this call is going to be recorded. This will go up on on my YouTube channel. Feel free, you can share it. It'll also be on RX Nation and MOA Challenge. And I really leaving the Destin event. I'm going to talk a little bit in just a second about that. But leaving the Destin event, I really wanted to take a couple of Sunday nights and really lay out and talk about this system that we have in place, because it's going to take us a little bit of time. It's going to take us a little bit of time to get to know it, to use it, to realize the power of it and what it can represent for our recruiting process, but not only our recruiting process, but onboarding new distributors once they're involved with us. So we're going to talk a lot about that tonight. But what better thing to do than actually to pull someone that's actually using it, their team's using it, and they're experiencing a rapid growth since we left the Destin event. You know, it's stories, right? It's all about stories in this industry. And I believe if you do this right, you just share stories, and people can grab a hold of that. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. Just want to lay out a couple of things that's going on this week, okay, before we get into it. First thing, a lot of you are involved at the end of this week on the Eric Worre GoPro on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, 3 days, intense 3 days. A lot of things coming at us on Friday, Saturday, Sunday that we're going to be able to use all of 2021. Going to have a lot of things coming to us. It's going to help us grow and be a pro at this profession, this beautiful industry we've all got our hands on, but with our company and where we're at. So we got that going on. And I want to encourage you on Tuesday at 12 o'clock, if you're going to the GoPro event, I have a mastermind set up for Tuesday, and I want to make sure you're on it. You're invited to it. You should be in the group. We Are Undeniable. There's a Facebook group out there called We Are Undeniable. And if you've got your GoPro ticket, we do a weekly mastermind in that group on Tuesday. So got that coming up this week. But we've got a lot. You know, I was actually on the phone earlier with Todd Rowland, and he was talking about just leaving Sonia and Kim and everybody, you know, up in Alabama and around Madison, and just the success that's going on there, and them just, you know, out really flexing their storytelling muscle, sharing the word, getting out there, figuring out ways. I think they were I might get this wrong, at like a salt bath place, sharing, right? They're finding opportunities and windows to just get in front of people. Arlene, I believe we always say, if your mouth's open, your store's open, right? And so what Sonia's doing, Sonia Infinger, is she's so passionate about what we have with our product. She's so passionate about what this can be a blessing in other people's lives. And this is what me and Todd Rowland was doing. Kim's the same way. Is they're just out sharing with everybody, and they're finding opportunities, whether it's one-on-ones, two-on-ones, meetings, Zooms, like any way they can get in front of people, they're getting in front of people. And so I want that to be inspiration to all of us. Sometimes we make this way more complicated than it is. It's not. It's just about, if you're passionate and your beliefs right, How many people can you put this in front of and share with them and let it be a blessing for them? At the end of the day, it's theirs to choose once you share it. So, we were talking about that. And then Chris Doyle, I was talking to him, and he was talking about being over in um, he was talking about the Arkansas group and what everybody's doing over there. And just again, just working the process. And so I was telling them tonight I was going to have Ashley Paulson come on. And here's what we're going to do tonight. I kind of want to lay the groundwork of how tonight will be, because over the last couple of weeks on this Sunday night, we've talked about the two Facebook groups, Transformational Health Styles, Transformational Lifestyles. I've talked to you about needing to utilize you, like we need your transformation stories in both, from a health standpoint of what the products are doing, and then from a business standpoint on the transformational lifestyles, like flexing your story because people can resonate with it. Please, we encourage you to continue putting your stories in there. And in the oncoming weeks, we want to create a Facebook group geared around, skincare and things that go on outside of our body, because we know, I see Juanita on here, we know the power of what we have in our hands with Lucem and things more to come with that. And so we want to create that community. We've been talking about the press play three-way, the simplicity of a video, the simplicity of getting a video in front of somebody, letting them press play, watching it, and then getting somebody on the phone with them, like a three-way call. And then at the end of the day, once they enroll, we're going to talk about that tonight. Like, what are the people that are enrolling people? If you were to talk to Sonia Enfinger, if you were to talk to Kim Gray, one of the power rankers each and every week, what do they do when they enroll somebody? How do they do it? How do they close the deal? How do they seal it? We're going to talk about that tonight. And then once they're enrolled, how do I create duplication? How do I create that brand new person getting started on the right track? Okay. So we're going to kind of pull everything together tonight, hopefully, and wrap it all up in a big bow. And it's still going to take work on your end. You're still going to have to go through it. You're still going to have to utilize it. You're going to have questions, but let's just continue to make it a beautiful masterpiece as we move forward. I want to give a big shout out to Anthony Moreland. Anthony Moreland has, Anthony, you feel free to unmute. Let me say this, Anthony and others this week, Andrea Rosser and others, are really trying, especially in the transformational health styles, to get a lot of videos up there, a lot of PDFs up there in the unit section. So I challenge you, if you hadn't seen the unit section of transformational health styles or transformational lifestyles, the Facebook groups, we're putting a lot of content up there for you to be able to utilize. Anthony, is there anything you want to add on that before we get over into Ashley about the two Facebook groups?
Okay.
Anything you're seeing?
Okay. Just a couple of things I watched throughout the first couple of weeks. And one is, when you are posting your transformation, or maybe posting getting started, or sharing a friend or team member's transformation, make sure you copy it directly to the group. Make sure you post it straight to the group, not share it from maybe Brent's wall or Andrea's or Miss Lynette's or Ashley's. You grab whatever they said, take their picture and post it directly. Because, for instance, if I'm friends with Brent, but Ashley is my friend, but she's not friends with Brent, she won't see that post if Brent's page if it's private. And so that it just helps out with the people who are private. It won't just show up as an unavailable post. And then also, everybody, I know y'all want to share these transformations so much. I know you do. They're amazing. They're amazing transformations.
Hey, Anthony. Anthony, can I want you to go to the next part, but I want to make sure everybody understands. and I'm looking at Sonia Infinger right now. Sonia, you're in the middle of my screen. And so does that make sense? And that a lot of you, some of you are putting the transformations over into transformational health styles or transformational lifestyles, but you might share it over into the group. Instead of sharing it, actually copy the content, copy the text, save the picture onto your phone, and then go over into the group and post it as an original post. Kind of raise your hand if that makes sense. I want this to be a working night. Now, this is not a normal coach's call. This is a us working together here. So does that make sense? Raise your hand. Okay, you're following me. All right, great. Anthony, go ahead. The next thing.
Okay. And then the second one is I've seen some people do it, and I know you want to share. You may see a great transformation. Man, I got to share this to my wall. Again, we want to bring people in the group, not outside the group. So when you share that post outside the group, and then you go and reach out to Ashley or you go and reach out to Miss Teresa, and they already said, well, oh, I already seen that. So if you're sharing everything outside of the group, there's no reason for them to come inside of the group. So instead of sharing it outside the group, why not go grab some friends and add them to the group? Because that's what it's for, and then tag their name there. When you keep it inside the group, it's like a big old community. Everybody's wanting to get in because they're trying to figure out where they can find it, where they can find that information. Hey, how can I just had a coach of mine, he was like, hey, because I grabbed somebody's post and I shared it on my public wall, and my old high school coach reached out to me and said, hey, where can I get the Slender Rise drops? Well, great. I got a group on Facebook I'd love to add you to. Just like that. You want to add them to it. And then, you know what? I encourage everybody. This is one of the big ones. I talked with Leroy, and I talked to a lot of other people. I don't care if you're just starting your Slender Rod drop, you just started this week. Get on there and share your beginning story, because there's somebody else out there that's going to start this week. And you just telling them, hey, I just got started. I seen, I think that was not Ashley, Michelle. Michelle just posted, she shared that she lost 6 pounds in the first week. You don't think that's inspiring to somebody who's getting ready to get started? So even if you're just getting started, let us know. Let the group know, and we'll help you keep accountable. It was a guy in there said he was looking to lose 200 pounds, and we all encouraged him. How you think he feel now? And so that's what that group is for, is to help you. I've been paying attention to the other groups out there, and I've been watching and seeing what they're doing. I'm just grabbing that so we can bring it into our group as well.
We're going to thank you, Anthony. We're going to make these groups massively powerful for you. It is a work in progress, but it's one of those things that the more involvement you are in this community, the better the groups will be. And it's going to help everybody, because what people want to see, Vince Green might not think he might have, he's just on the Slender Rise. He just lost 3 pounds. But you know what? He shares his story about being a defense attorney, and he's just got on it, and hey, I'm so excited. I just lost 3 pounds. What he doesn't realize is then Dave Vance talks to an attorney this week and puts the attorney in the group and tags him in Vince's story because they can connect, right? So it's the power of all of us helping each other to achieve something massive. So again, thanks for everybody that's pitching in and helping in these groups. You're all making an impact, truly are. So Anthony, anything else on that side before we get? Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to go over to Ashley Paulson out of Colorado. Ashley is she has grown a very successful business here, okay, over the years. But I talked with Ashley because I'd been watching her numbers. I've been watching the enrollment happen since we left Destin, Florida. Her and her amazing husband showed up to Destin, Florida. And when she left, she just said, I'm going to submit to the process. I'm going to submit to using the video and the 3-way calls. I'm going to use the groups to let the groups drip on people with stories. And then I'm going to use the enrollment form to enroll them. Okay. And then I'm going to onboard them using the onboarding process. And so rather than me kind of go, yay, 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 because we helped create it, I want to turn it to them, because over the last 4 weeks, she's experienced the biggest amount of enrollments that's happened in her team in the last 12 months. And let me add, it was Thanksgiving. Okay. Okay. So when people say nobody enrolls in Thanksgiving around the holidays, that's an excuse, because it's absolutely happening. So Ashley Paulson, thank you so much for being here. And I'm just going to I want to turn it to you. And I think you've got a couple of tips to give people that you've seen as you've done this. But if you will, if you want to talk about it, and then if you've got any of your team that wants, if they got anything to add, let's bring them on.
Perfect. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Perfect. One thing I got to bring up is you said something about leaving Destin. I'm looking at your backdrop. I'm like, I wish I was still there on that backdrop, right? I'm actually wearing a sweatshirt from Destin tonight. But thanks so much for having me on the call. Happy Sunday, everyone. It's so good to see everyone's faces on here tonight. And so really, when Brent talks about the process, it really made me think. I looked up the definition tonight of process, and it says a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. And so working the process, right? These Facebook pages that have came out, they're incredible. Obviously, some of you may know I have lost 41 pounds just this year. But I'm using my transformation, right? I'm flexing my story. I'm sprinkling it into my Facebook. But when someone says or private messages me or comments on there, I don't go and tell them my whole story. I don't explain it. I'm like, hey, can I add you to one of my Facebook groups? I'll go ahead and tag you on my post and a few other things. Funneling them, right? Funneling them to the tools. And so I absolutely love the tools, and it just gives you a chance to let them get in there, because people are going to do their research. They're going to look at stuff. They're going to want to see success. And what better way to find it from us who are actually having success and transformations, right? And so really just utilizing these pages, I absolutely love it. I don't feel like I have to force people in there. I don't feel like I'm having to sometimes it feels forceful. And that's something that I've noticed with these 2 Facebook pages, is it takes off that pressure from me. Hey, can I simply just add you on this quick Facebook group, tag you in a few photos, or tag you in a few stories? Another huge, yep.
Ashley, while you're in on that, because I'm going to jump in a couple of times if it's okay.
Yeah.
And Andrea Rosser is sitting there, hopefully, that is going to sitting there with the Facebook pages pulled up. I just don't want to assume anyone. I talked to Ashley a couple of days, and we were like, we're just going to tag team this, because we really want this to be a great kind of pulling it all together for you tonight. So hopefully Andrea can share the screen and pull up Transformational Health Styles. And Ashley, if you will, just kind of step them through what you do when Ashley says she makes a post, right? You make a post, somebody comments, congratulations, or ask a little something about it. You kind of take it from there. Andrea, are you able to, okay, take it from there, Ashley.
Perfect.
Just kind of walk Andrea through what you would do.
Okay. One quick tip real quick before we start scrolling. That Facebook, Crystal actually showed me this, and it's a fabulous thing. So I wanted to share it tonight, because it's definitely been something that I've been doing and encouraging my team to do. So right there at the address bar where it says facebook.com groups transformation health styles, I literally send them that link to invite them to my page once I confirmed that they're going to go to the page, because right when they click on that link, it automatically accepts it. If you're to actually go there and click the invite button, you have to wait for them to go and accept the page. And so don't start tagging people unless you know they're in the page, because they're not going to see it unless they accepted it. So super cool about that web browser, that address up on top in the top left. If you send that to them, they click on it and they're automatically added, and then you can go in and tag them. So kind of just a helpful tip. But what I do is I basically ask them first if they're going to, I can tag you in this group, tag you in a few posts. So that first group, that first post right there, yep, the video with Dr. Ginger. I love tagging people there, and you can see Kelly, Anthony, start here. You're starting people at that step 1. So they get in there, tag the person's name, start here, you know, watch this video first, whatever. But I love that video because it just kind of explains the products. It is obviously backed by Dr. Ginger. And then what I'll do is I'll just tag them there, watch this first, and then I'll keep scrolling down, and I try to find, in the back of my mind, I'm always, you know, continuously watching this page, but trying to remember and try to think of different people, obviously, that they connect with, right? We have incredible transformations on this story. You can see all this. Anna right there, she's actually on my team. I absolutely loved this post from Miss Anna. Her mom actually joined with a pact to start her transformation. Obviously, like I said, some of you guys know my story, but people with a family business is so cool. And I love just seeing my team in here and sharing their stories and part of their journeys too. So that's basically all I do is I just go in there and tag them on that first post, and then, you know, find a few different transformations that are in here, find mine, I tag them in that type of thing. So that's all I really do.
Ashley, have you used the transformational lifestyles?
Yes, I have used it a few times. A lot of times if people are interested in products, but they are like, I do want to earn some extra income, I am interested in earning the business standpoint, I still plug them into both, because obviously there's the transformations from a health standpoint, right? The health styles. But then there's also the lifestyles too. So I tag them in both of them and get them enrolled in both.
So right now you would go to this video right here, and you would go and put, you know, whoever,
Yep.
Anthony Moreland, start here.
Yep.
You know, whoever you're adding. So you do the same thing you're doing in transformational health styles. You just do it on the business side, the same exact thing.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Is everybody with me on that? Does that make sense? Maybe in the comments you can raise your hand like, hey, I'm on there. I get it. I get it. Because that's what we want here tonight. Like we want this to be interactive where you feel like, hey, I've really got a tool, right? A tool's only as good as if you use it, Arlene, you know? And so we can offer up anything, but at the end of the day, we want it to help you. So, okay, Ashley, that was awesome. Now I'm going to turn it to you and let you go ahead
and keep talking.
Keep talking.
So I absolutely love, obviously, the Facebook groups, right? It's easy to plug people in. You obviously need to make that connection so they know that they're going in there. Don't just whatever word I'm trying to say. Don't mass add people to that group, because it does devalue the group. So make sure people you're putting in there, they know they're going in there. And another thing too, I like putting people in there because it kind of helps me let them see the success. And then what I do is I go and I pull them into a push, play, and 3-way. And so I love that. And a lot of times when I get on Zoom or I'm showing someone that video, I love pulling them into Zoom, whether it's my own personal Zoom or plugging them into a prospect call that we already have going. But watching that video with them, because you know they watched it, right? And so watching that video with them, plus it also gives you an opportunity to have them ask questions. You can kind of go back and forth, have that third-party validation on there as well. And sometimes with playing the video, sometimes people are kind of like awkward in how to play the video if you are playing it yourself. I always kind of just make a joke, and I'm like, I like to talk a lot, I talk fast, but it's so much easier for me to just push play. My friend Todd here will actually do all the work for me. So I just kind of roll with that.
Ashley, let me jump in on that. That is so powerful. And here's why that's so powerful, Juanita or Arlene or whoever's listening. Because the prospect, whether you realize it or not, every prospect subconsciously is saying, can I do what Arlene is telling me? Do I have time to do it? Would I want to involve the people I care about? So when you say, you know, Ashley says, she makes a joke, you know, I could talk all day about all this excitement just surrounding me, but you know what? The cool thing, I don't have to. I'm just going to press play, let my friend Todd kind of share with you. What does that tell your prospect? Well, I can do that.
Yeah, they can do
I got time to do that. I don't have to be an expert to do that. I don't have to talk for 5 hours to do that. Super powerful what you just said, Ashley. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you. And then I kind of just wanted to give a huge kudos to my team. And obviously, like Brent talked about, the team's literally exploding right now, but it's everyone working the process, right? Everyone's doing the same page. Everyone's plugging into the Facebook groups. They're pushing play and three-waying. And so Summer Schaefer, she's a brand new rep on our team. We went on there, we watched the video, and she actually ended up enrolling that person. And so someone brand new, like that's you're training them when you're showing them. And so if you're showing them the correct way to plug them into a Facebook group, to get them on a Todd Rowland, they're going to do exactly what you did. And so that's why the process is so important if we're all on the same page, because we really do succeed all together. Shauna Smith, I just posted a thing last night. She got one of her friends, Cassie, on a Zoom with me last night. We played the Todd Rowland video. We closed her. Really just working the process. Faith Ford, want to give a huge shout out to that girl in Minnesota. She got me on a three-way call yesterday at 8 a.m. She called me and she's like, are you awake? Like, are you out of bed? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just making a cup of coffee. Like, I'm not quite the morning person. I haven't had my Blue 2 yet, but I'm like, yep, I'm good. And she's like, can you hop on a quick three-way call? Yep, sure can. Hopped on there. The lady had already watched the Todd Rowland video with Faith. We had her on a three-way call. She enrolled, 10 minutes later. So the process is working. One huge thing too, Jane Rouse has enrolled several people since the 7-day recruiting challenge. Kathy McKeel has enrolled several people since the 7-day challenge. Faith Ford has enrolled several people since the 7-day challenge. And so is Carolyn Haig. And all of those people watched the 7-day challenge with Eric Worre. And so obviously, like Brent mentioned before, that's a huge indicator of how much impact that has on people. I literally, when I went into the 7-day recruiting challenge, I've been in this industry for 5.5 years. I've exhausted my warm list. I've exhausted maybe some of my cold list, but hitting that reset button, but plugging yourself in and changing your mindset, huge key. All those people, attended the 7-day recruiting challenge and they're all seeing massive growth. And so if you haven't gotten your GoPro ticket, I really hope we still can get people to do that, because or you can still enroll, because it's a huge game changer. So if you don't have your ticket, find a way to get one. Absolutely.
Okay. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it is exploding. Your team's exploding, but I want to go back through this. Okay. So for everybody watching in tonight, don't look at this like what, if you were to ask Sonia in Madison, Alabama, Sonia, how are you doing it? She would tell you, her and Todd Rowland and Kim Gray get together and they go meet people. They go meet them 2-on-1, 1-on-1. And I mean, they're in doctors' offices. They're like I said, they're at some salt bath place. Like I wished I was there. I probably could stand to get a pedicure. And here's the thing, they're in all these different kind of places, right? Diane Blue's laughing at me now. So, but you might be saying, well, but I do it on Zoom. Perfect. You do it on Zoom. You do it on 2-on-1. You have a meeting. Like when you're in the presence of a prospect, this is where the magic happens. Okay. So how do you get in the presence of the prospect? You got to reach out. You got to set the appointment. And so what Ashley is doing, I want to bring this back. And then Ashley, I want you to kind of talk about the onboarding, if you will, is Ashley's reaching out to them. Her people are reaching out to their prospects. So they're creating a list. Like they got their top 10 list. They got a list in front of them. And so they reach out and it's like, I've got something exciting. I want to share it with you. If I were to send you a video, will you watch it? Or I want to jump on a Zoom with you and show you the video in person. Or I want to go by and see you and show you the video in person. Does that make sense? And then they lock down the time of when they can watch the video, right? And once it's locked down and they watch the video, then they get them on a three-way call. And it's so easy for someone like myself or others to do a three-way call when I know you're your prospects already watched the video. Then I can come on and say, hey, Arlene, what did you like best about the video? And then I can agree with Arlene and we can start our conversation. Okay. That's how this is done. Arlene, and then once they press play three-way, then what Ashley's listening to is little triggers that the person is telling her. Are they interested in the product? Are they interested in losing weight? Are they interested in skincare? Are they interested in, detoxing? Are they interested in energy? Are they interested in their immune system? Are they interested in just making money and having a business, home-based business? Are they interested in both? And then she's plugging them in the communities that meets that person's need. Does that make sense? Okay, it's the system that is in place. An 8-year-old could do this. We could teach young kids how to do this system. Now, once they're in the community, guess what's happening? Just like Anthony Moreland said, people are loving on people. We're leading with love. We're congratulating people. Now, we need your help. So anytime you can congratulate people in the groups, anytime you can brag on them, anytime you can acknowledge them, we're just building the community better and better and better for you, for your team. On both pages. Now, when the time comes, Ashley, you guys are closing people. Eventually, you got to ask for the sale. Okay? Now, Andrea, could you show the application that we have? And this is on therxexperience.com. And we changed this week, therxexperience.com. When you go to therxexperience.com, Todd Rowland's video, the opportunity video, is the first video you see. We took that ugly guy off named Brent Palmer, okay? So he's no longer there. It's Todd Rowland. We don't want to leave nothing like we want to make it super easy for you. But inside of the RX Experience is also the enrollment application. Printing this off, and I'll be honest, print it in color. Print it on a little thicker pieces of paper. That will mean stuff to the prospect. I bet you anything, if I were to ask Sonia Infinger and Kim Gray about their applications, they're printed off, they're in color, they look professional, and you know what they do? They use these applications, they get them filled out, and then they actually call it into customer service and enroll them. Let's call it in. I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about a website because we got all of this happening, but they treat it as a business. Now, I want to direct your attention to the 250 PV packs. All of these packs, the 250 PV, all come with the 2X memberships, which means you are ready to build a business with anybody that enrolls on these packs. They are getting all the ability to make commissions to the maximum standpoint with these packs. So you don't have to explain any of that to them. You just enroll them on a 250 PV pack. They choose the packs. We just put a couple of popular ones up there. But then down at the bottom, the ultimate pack, obviously the number one ultimate pack right now is you'll see it right there. It's Ultimate Transformation Pack. That's the one Kim Gray absolutely dominates with. It's 10 of each, 10 of the MOAs, 10 of the Rejuvenex, 10 of the Slenderize. Okay. When you're talking about somebody really wanting to get their business going. Now, if someone is saying, I want something of everything, the Ultimate Pack 2 or the Ultimate Pack with Lucem, that would be it right there. That's got a little bit of everything in it. Okay. But just wanted to point to that. And then the monthly auto delivery, we always get them set up. If you were to talk to Sonia, if you were to talk to Kim Gray, if you were to talk to Ashley Paulson, Every time she enrolls someone, she always sets them up on an auto delivery. She just tells them, this is something that's going to happen 4 weeks from the date you enroll, and you can always change it up, but it just needs to be 100 PV or $150 order. She always gets them set up on the auto delivery. So Ashley, I'm going to turn it back to you. Thank you so much, Andrea, for that. I'm going to turn it back to you, Ashley. Anything you want to add about the enrollment application or what you guys are doing? Clearly, you're asking for the sale.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought I was done talking. I was like, hey, I can talk all night, which is also part of my problem sometimes, right? Let the tools do the work for you. Yes, so the enrollment process, I absolutely love. Dr. Crystal actually shared what she was doing, and really it's just following the leader, right? And that's why I love doing these calls with everyone, because we all get different nuggets and how we can, better ourselves or better our teams and help them. But really the enrollment process, when you're on that individual Zoom sharing, like this is kind of what we're going towards. This is what we're doing. When you're on the individual Zooms with them, showing them the Todd Rowland video, getting their questions answered, that's literally right where you're like, are you ready to join us? Are you ready to get signed up? Literally pull up your website, right? You can share your screen, walk them through it. Because a lot of times it is that awkward moment where it's like people will watch a Zoom, they'll three-way, but like, how do you get them to enroll? How do you get them to that over the hump, right? And so are you ready to get started? I mean, literally it's nice, especially with that third-party validation, because they aren't really friends with the person that's on there, right? They're friends with not the person, but not the prospect. And so it's easy for them to be like, are you ready to get started with us? Perfect. Pull up Ashley's link. We'll get you rocking and rolling, get you signed up. And another thing with that as well, too, once people get enrolled, obviously using the Team Undeniable page. I've been in it for 5.5 years. Last Sunday, after we talked about going into Team Undeniable and doing the process yourself, even though you know the key words, still go in and do it. You can text Dr. Crystal right now and she will be like, yep, Ashley worked the process. She went through the enrollment process. She created her top 10. She wrote out her goals. And a lot of times in our minds, if you have been here for a while, it's like you have goals in your minds, but until you actually write it out on a piece of paper. And so if you're brand new, or if you've been in it for 5 years or 10 years, it's so important to still go through that process on the Team Undeniable, because it helps you kind of hit that reset button. Once they do get enjoined, obviously that kind of gets them all set up. That links them to all the pages if they aren't there already. The transformation, both pages, and then obviously MOA Challenge and RX Nation. But then how am I building my business from within, right? And so our teams have been tap rooting. And so basically what we're doing is we're finding the lowest depth of a line that's building. And so basically going and finding that lowest line, that lowest person who's active, and I'm just starting to plug people down. We're just plugging them. And so that kind of incentivizes the new people who are coming, right? Because they're like, if they know I'm doing a tap route, they know they're going to go in that line. They know that, I'm eventually going to put some people below them. And I mean, really, they only have to go out and build half their business if I'm tap rooting there, right? And so go out and build another line. That line's probably more than likely going to be their power line, but go out and build your pay line. And if people know that they only have to build one line, and I know not everyone will have the opportunity to do that, but like if you start doing that and start tap rooting down, that's how you're going to maximize that leg. And that's kind of how we've been rocking and rolling with it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes 100% makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. And one of the things I couldn't get it out. One of the things Kim Gray does the same thing, and I've talked with her, and I do the same thing to where I look at somebody. I'm always launching a new piece of business. If you really want a key nugget here tonight, for me, when I'm talking to a prospect, I'm always starting a new team. And so the way I look at it, I look at Anthony Morley. I say, listen, Anthony, I would highly recommend like you get started with me tonight, because here's what's going to happen. I'm building a team, and I'm going to build below you in one of your legs. You can go build in the other. Okay. But I promise you, you can either come in up here, or you can wait a little bit and come in down here. Like, you have the ability to come in here now. And I absolutely am doing that. Anytime you're staying in recruit and build mode, you always can offer people the vision of saying, listen, I'm gonna build this line of business. You go build your other line. Coming in right now, super powerful. You got first movers advantage right now. Like, make it something people want, right? Right? I'll tell you this, I always want to invest in a stock when it has first movers advantage. Right? It's okay. I mean, that's life, right? We want to be in at the front end of something. And so when you're I don't go to talk to somebody and go, yeah, I'm built, you can get started with us. I've been building now for about a decade, and it's going pretty good. No, I'm starting a new organization, new team. I'm going right here, right below you. You come in, you're going to, and so it's one of those things where they want to be a part. And that's what Ashley's doing, and it's highly effective. So I want to show Ashley as we move, and this might trigger something in your mind. Andrea, if you could pull up Team Undeniable, the Facebook page, and please don't give your new people, not sure what just happened. Hold up. Okay. All right, so Team Undeniable right here. All you do is if you haven't went through this, it's worth it. I've heard of people going halfway through it, a quarter of a way through it. You're going to be confused if you don't go through it where it's understandable to you and think about it from a new person. Matter of fact, I do exactly what Ashley did. I'd go through it, and I would go through and do all the things it asked you to do. I know me and Anthony Moreland did it. He sent me his goals, and we went through it. So we're going to send this Team Undeniable. We're going to go to send message. We're going to like the page for the new prospect, send a message, and type in. It might circulate, so it never operates like I want it to right here. So you get the picture. You know what to say. Just say ready. It'll kick off for you. And then just step through the process. Now, you know the 4 keywords. If you don't, we'll put them in the comments, the 4 keywords. But I wouldn't share these 4 keywords with people, okay? Especially don't give them the 4 keywords. You want them coming back to you or coming back to your team and asking for the words. But this is going to get them plugged in. It's going to get them their goals. It's going to get them their top 10, a list, and it's going to tell them exactly how to reach out and use the press play 3-way method. So, Ashley, you want to add anything on that? Thank you, Andrea, for that.
No, I guess just like you said, I would just reiterate of going through it yourself, right? Doesn't matter if you're day 1 or day 7,000. I think it's super important to go through there. Like I said, write down your goals. You might have new goals than you had 5 years ago, right? But then obviously you're working that process. You're creating your top 10 list. And so it's just a nice way for you to hit restart as well. But then it's obviously you're going through it, so you know what to expect when you send new people to go through it. You know exactly what's happening. And so the best way to learn is to do. So that's kind of all I have to say on that.
Absolutely. Ashley, thank you so much. Me and Ashley got together, and we wanted to give an assignment to you, okay? So as we close out, Anthony, do you have anything you want to add with the groups? Anything? Or are you good?
No,
okay.
good.
Andrea, anything we want to add on our part as we've been working through this week?
No, sir.
Okay, perfect. So an assignment, okay? Are you ready? Anthony, if we can put these in the comments too for the recording, but I'd write this down. Do you want to have a big week this week? Do you want to do the process right? Here's what my challenge is to you, and Ashley's challenge is to you. Here is exactly what she did. She took a week, 7 days, starting tomorrow, okay? Over the next 7 days, 10 people run through the process this week personally. So Juanita is going to run 10 people personally through the process. So that means 10 people are going to see the video this week. She might have to go through 30 people to get 10 people to see the video. But 10 people is going to see the video this week. And then guess what she's going to do? I want you to celebrate your success on RX Nation. Like I'm talking about, I got Bob to watch the video because that's inspiration for someone else. So if you really want to know what can I do what Ashley did. Go look at RX Nation right now. Ashley is congratulating people when they do a 3-way call. She's congratulating people when they show the video. She's congratulating her team when they get them in Facebook groups, the Facebook group. She's congratulating her team, recognizing. And guess what's happening? Her team's responding. And guess what they're starting to do? They're starting to congratulate. Because when you take action in the right areas, the results happen. The enrollments will happen if the action's taken. So 10 people this week personally is going to run through the process. That means press play 3-way. That means adding them to the groups. That means celebrating the success in RX Nation. Then challenge your team to do it. Challenge your team. And document on RX Nation the celebration. Does that make sense? So when Michael Whitten is somebody's watched the video or they're at a 2-on-1, he takes a picture of it. He celebrates it, right? They might not know it. He might be just doing a little secret, little snapshot, you know. But bottom line is people are seeing the process happen. Here's what happens in a community like ours. When people start using the process and they use it correctly and they hold each other accountable and they celebrate each other's success, then just like with the weight loss transformation, just like with the lifestyle transformation, we start having a process transformation. And people start seeing the process works when you work the process. And so that's my assignment to you this week. Everybody can do it. Bill Saling can do it this week. He can compete with himself to get 10 people in front of the video and then listening for key factors to plug them into the groups and then asking for the sale application. And if they enroll, call it in. Just call it in and enroll them with customer service. Guess what that's going to teach them exactly how to do? And you go, Brent, why? Why right now? Why do you want to do that right now? Because I'll tell you why. We're working on a web page. Okay? But that thing can be complicated. So why let it be complicated? Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. We're going to have a beautiful web page and a beautiful automated system, and it really is going to look pretty coming up, very, in the near future. But don't lose sales because you're trying to complicate it. You go, Brent, they used to do applications back in the 70s. They worked then, they'll work now. Okay? So then once you get them enrolled, onboard them. And watch what happens to your business in the month of December. Everything. Remember back when we started, you got on these Sunday night calls. I said, we're going to push October, November, December, we're going to push, and we're going to springboard into 2021. The heck with going into 2021, making all these New Year's resolutions and going, all right, it's my year. I'm going to get started January 1. No, you're not. You're going to get started like January the 10th or halfway through January. But what if you springboard into January? That's what we're doing. If you're on the train with us, if you're doing what we're talking about, you're not going to start mid-January. You're going to go into it already springboarding yourself and your team into the new year. That's what Ashley Paulson is going to do. When you see Ashley Paulson on stage at a New Age Arts event, and she's getting recognized as a multiple six-figure earner, touching the, almost reaching seven-figure status. It's not by chance. It's not by luck. It's by design. She submitted to the process, and then she started working the process, and she started celebrating it, and she went all in. So you're going to reach back out to her and go, how'd you do it? Well, I plugged into the 7-day recruiting challenge. I did the Go Pro event. I went pro at my profession, and it's paying me like one. So proud of you, Ashley Paulson, and your team, and your success. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things and following the process. That's the key. That's the key. So excited for you guys. Thanks for being on here, Ashley, tonight and doing this. Guys, have a great, your assignment's given. Let's go rock it. Let's go rock this week. We know what to do. Share the recording. This will be up on RX Nation. MOA Challenge. We love each and every one of you. So blessed to be in business with you. So blessed to be in this company. So grateful for the opportunity. And we're going to affect a lot of people's lives. We're just getting started. Love you guys. Have a great night. God bless.